Let's all just pretend last night didn't happen. Chu Fei, not yet fully awake from his groggy sleep, shook his head, which was aching a bit, and looked at the large stack of cash on the bed, still not quite registering what he was seeing. It was only when he saw Su Li, who had already changed into a full set of designer clothes, that he began to come to his senses. "Beautiful lady, we were all drunk last night. It was a mutual thing. Do you really need to insult me like this? Besides, do I look like someone who's short of money to you?" Chu Fei's gaze scanned up and down the beautiful woman in front of him. It had to be said she was a natural stunner. Her figure was not comparable to that of an ordinary woman. Feeling the other party's fiery gaze, Su Li's pretty face turned particularly rosy. This damned guy, he just doesn't know how to cherish a woman. He was so rough last night that she was still in a bit of pain. Moreover, it was her first time, but thinking about her life ahead, her expression turned cold again. "So what do you want? Name your price. As long as it's within a reasonable range, I can meet your demands." Chu Fei smiled. He himself was the top soldier king of Daxia, known as Yan Wang by the world. Moreover, not to mention that the bank card he carried had no limit. Even if there was a limit, the bank card given by his family, the balance inside was wealth that countless so-called tycoons could hardly surpass. I said, "I'm not the kind of person who sells my body. What we both wanted, if money is involved, that could become illegal, and I'm a good citizen who abides by the law. If you're short of money, name a number and consider it me buying you a drink. How about that?" Short of money. Su Li was so angry she laughed. She, the president of Jiangnan City's Kayao Group, worth hundreds of millions. Would she be short of money? Great. "Buying me a drink isn't cheap. How about this, 100 million, that's a bargain for you." Chu Fei, who had just thrown off the covers and was about to put on his pants and leave, didn't pay attention to what Su Li said. His gaze was filled with astonishment as he looked at the splash of crimson on the bedsheet. At that moment, 1,000 wild horses galloped through his heart. Sinning. This woman who came to the bar to get drunk was still a virgin? What's more, last night it seemed like he hadn't prepared any safety measures. Finished. Cold sweat suddenly broke out on Chu Fei's face. Su Li, on the other hand, thought Chu Fei was intimidated by the price and immediately sneered. "What? Can't afford it? Since you can't afford it, don't boast. Consider the money as buying you some tonics. Your performance last night, I thought it was quite average." As she finished speaking, she turned to leave. At this moment, Chu Fei was not going to take it lying down. Average? What the hell is average? Isn't this indirectly admitting one's own inadequacy that she is not satisfied? Without even having time to pull up his pants, he rushed forward in one swift move, pinning Su Li, who was about to leave, against the wall. "Did you just say I'm average?" Su Li's heart raced to her throat, looking at the man in front of her, whose chest was covered in scars. A hint of fear appeared in her eyes. She glanced down and quickly averted her gaze, her face flushing red. With gritted teeth, she angrily said, "You scoundrel! What do you want to do? If it's not possible, then it's not possible. What, planning to do it again first thing in the morning? Sure, I'll see you through to the end. Let's see whose legs give out first, yours or mine." Chu Fei admitted that he backed down, but it didn't mean he was inadequate. It was mainly due to the lack of safety measures. He was also afraid that, like in some melodramatic TV dramas, he might end up with a child on his doorstep, accusing him of abandoning his wife and child, a situation where he would be unable to defend himself. "All right, name your price, and let's just forget today ever happened, okay?" Su Li smiled, with a hint of disdain on her face. "What? You're backing down now? I thought you were more formidable." Chu Fei didn't want to waste words with her, and turned to put on his clothes. His tone became very calm. Seeing him like this, Su Li also calmed down. Although there was still some pain, she endured it. "Do I look like someone who needs money? We're just strangers. Goodbye." Just as Su Li was about to leave, Chu Fei spoke up. 100 million enough? Without knowing when, Chu Fei had already sat on the sofa in the room, quietly lighting a cigarette. Su Li didn't speak, but her expression had already shown it. 100 million. In the entire Jiangnan, there wouldn't be more than 10 people who could casually take out 100 million. She wouldn't believe that a man she met in a bar had such wealth. 200 million. Seeing she didn't speak, Chu Fei thought it wasn't enough. 300 million. He began a new round of bidding. At this moment, Suli spoke up. How about this, a one-time offer? 1 billion. Chu Fei laughed and extinguished the cigarette. Deal. Seeing him agree so readily, Suli was stunned. Do you know what a billion means? If you can come up with it, I'm yours. Suli was so angry she laughed, starting with 100 million as if it's nothing. Does he really think he's the only son of a wealthy family? Doesn't he treat money as waste paper? No, I'm only 25 and not ready for a relationship, it's too tiring. However, if you insist on clinging to me, it's not impossible. After all, beauties like you are not common. Chu Fei chuckled, his gaze unbridled as it swept over her. Suli was so angry, her teeth clenched, her chest heaving. She had never seen anyone who could pretend so well. Give me your bank account number. Chu Fei reached out for her account number, and Suli, without any hesitation, handed over her private bank card. She just couldn't believe that this man could really come up with 1 billion. A few seconds later, her phone vibrated. She took it out and saw a text message from the bank. It clearly read, Your bank card ending in 0088 has received a deposit of 1,000 thillion, with a balance of 1,000, 12,000, 300, 1,435. She was stunned. Looking at the series of zeros, she felt a bit dizzy. Here's your card. Goodbye. After handing the bank card to Suli, Chu Fei turned and walked out of the room, leaving Suli still in a daze. It wasn't until Chu Fei had gone far that Suli reacted. But there was no sign of Chu Fei in the room anymore. What is he? What kind of person is he? Suli couldn't believe it. She just didn't want her first time to be taken by a playboy who had been with countless women, so she came to the bar to get drunk. But she never expected to muddle-headedly give away her first time. And she received such a large sum of money. No matter how she thought about it, she felt like she was selling herself. She flipped through her contacts and dialed her best friend's number. A few seconds later, her best friend Fang Qing's voice came from the other end of the phone. What's up, my big CEO? Can't you let me sleep in on such an early morning? Suli hesitated and said, Xiaoqing, I think I've done something wrong. Fang Qing's somewhat lazy voice sounded over the phone. What's the matter? After hesitating for a few seconds, Suli finally spoke. I sold my first time. The next second, a shrill scream came from the phone. What? What on earth are you talking about? Her best friend seemed to be awakened by her words, even her sleepiness was gone. I said, I sold my first time to a strange man. This time, Suli seemed much calmer. Are you crazy? You're getting married to Zhao Xiao next month. If he finds out you did this, your life won't be easy. Fang Qing's tone was very anxious. But who knew Suli laughed at herself sarcastically. Will my life be easy after I marry him? I'd rather give it to a dog than him. Ever since she met Zhao An, Suli never thought her life would be easy, because she had heard more than once about Zhao An leaving some hotel with some woman. Almost every day was different. What kind of good life could she have after marrying him? You. Fang Qing was also stunned by her words. A few seconds later, she said, You, as the CEO of Kayao Group, worth hundreds of millions, your first time, it can't be sold for just tens of thousands, can it? Suli hesitated. She didn't know whether to tell her best friend the price, but after thinking about it, she still told her. 1 billion. That person gave me 1 billion. In fact, even now, Suli is still in a daze. 1 billion. You couldn't fit it in a truck. She really couldn't imagine what kind of person that man was. Without even blinking, he transferred the money into his own account. My dear Mr. Su, are you drunk? 10 billion? Enough to buy out Kayao Company, isn't it? Fang Qing obviously didn't believe it. If this was true, then this money would be too easy to earn. An ordinary person's entire life, even 10 lifetimes, might not be able to earn this much money. This number is a dream that countless people cannot even imagine. It's true. All of this money is now in my private account. That guy left, and I don't know what to do. Suli felt a bit at a loss. With so much money, she could solve all of her current problems. The reason her parents arranged for her to marry Zhao An was because of Kayao Company. Now, Kayao Company is under pressure from both the market and Zhao family. If they don't have enough funds, the new product that Kayao Company is researching cannot be launched, and might even be interrupted, causing the entire company to suffer. Because the company has invested all of its resources into it, failure is not an option. If they fail, the company will go bankrupt and face liquidation. Contracts with other companies will also naturally be terminated, resulting in compensation for the other party's breach of contract. And Zhaoan promised that as long as he marries her, he will invest 5 billion yuan into Kayao Company to support their research. Don't panic, since the other party is willing to give you money, it means they don't want any trouble. You can take this money guilt-free and use it as your own. But there is one problem. The other party's origin is unknown, and we don't know what their intentions are. Being able to come up with this much money at once is definitely not an ordinary person, so you better be careful. After listening to her best friend's words, Su Li became a bit flustered. What if the other party really had some ulterior motive? What should she do, just in case? Where are you? I'm coming over now. Fang Qing clearly wasn't at ease and wanted to come in person. I'm going back to the company now. Come find me at the company. After hanging up the phone, Su Li felt particularly anxious. Looking at the balance displayed on her phone, she felt a bit dazed. On the other side, Chu Fei happened to arrive outside Kayao Company. Looking at the piece of paper in his hand, there was only one address written on it, and it was here. There was also a woman's name, Su Li. Although he couldn't understand why his master wanted him to protect this woman, once he completed this last task, he would be freed. However, among all the tasks he had ever undertaken, the time for this task was the longest, lasting for 3 years. After 3 years, he could go wherever he wanted in this vast world. I don't know what this woman looks like. If she's an ugly freak, then I'll be the one suffering. But if she's a beauty, who knows, something good might happen. Chu Fei revealed a wicked smile and then walked into the lobby. The front desk girl put down her phone and smiled when she saw someone coming in. In the moment she saw Chu Fei, her heartbeat immediately accelerated. So handsome. This figure, this face, we're a perfect match. The girl at the front desk couldn't help but secretly laugh in her heart, but quickly suppressed her smile. Sir, may I ask who you are looking for? Chu Fei smiled slightly. Hello, is Su Li here? The front desk girl was stunned. This person was actually looking for the CEO. Hello, sir, are you looking for our CEO? Did you make an appointment in advance? Usually, if someone wants to see the CEO, they would make an appointment in advance. After all, not everyone can meet Mr. Su. No, but I'm here to protect her. I am her personal bodyguard. Just tell me where the CEO's office is, and I'll go up myself. Personal bodyguard? The front desk girl chuckled softly. Hey, handsome, have you read too many novels? After training my muscles, I'll become the personal bodyguard for our CEO. Do you still fantasize about becoming our CEO's husband? This kind of plot only happens in novels. Stop thinking about it. Chu Fei's face is full of frustration. This girl just doesn't believe it. What should I do? Hey, you saw through me. Fine, I'll come clean. I am indeed the husband of our CEO. I came here to find her for an urgent matter. Can you tell me where her office is? The receptionist's expression completely changed, and she rolled her eyes. This person is truly crazy. Most people in Jiangnan City know that our CEO is going to marry the young master of the Zhao family next month, and now suddenly there's a husband appearing. Who would believe it? I'm telling you, if you're going to brag, choose someone else. Our CEO is going to marry the young master of the Zhao family next month. If he hears this, you better be careful. Getting married next month? Chu Fei mumbled in his heart. Getting married means becoming a wife. He hasn't tried that yet. It's fine, getting married won't stop her from having 2 husbands. The receptionist rolled her eyes again. Indeed, there are so many shameless people in this world. Leave quickly or I'll call security. I don't want to say a word to a scumbag like you. As soon as she finished speaking, the receptionist saw Su Li, who looked exhausted, walking slowly into the lobby. She quickly stood up straight and respectfully called out, Miss Su. Chu Fei also instinctively turned around to see what the woman he was tasked to protect looked like. When he turned around, he was dumbfounded. Su Li was planning to go back to her office to take a rest. She heard the receptionist greeting her and happened to look at Chu Fei standing in the lobby. At that moment, the two of them stared at each other. What are you doing here? Almost at the same time, both of them said the same thing. The receptionist looked at the CEO and this unfamiliar man's tacit understanding and couldn't help but be surprised. Could it be that this person is really the CEO's boyfriend? Or husband? That's impossible. Suli took a deep breath and finally understood what her best friend had told her. It was definitely not nonsense. Sure enough, this guy came to her door. "What do you want?" She stared at Chu Fei with a cold face. Chu Fei was about to speak, but Suli interrupted him. "Follow me upstairs." After speaking, she headed towards the elevator. Chu Fei shrugged and followed behind. He was also annoyed. Why did this woman appear wherever he went? But he suddenly remembered that the receptionist called this woman Miss Su. In an instant, Chu Fei felt a chill run down his spine. Could it be that this woman is his target for this mission? That would be ridiculous. When they arrived at the 16th floor, Suli led Chu Fei into her office. She put down her bag and sat in her own office chair. "Didn't you say it was over? Why did you come to my company? What is your purpose?" She stared at Chu Fei with anger. This guy, he bought her first time, and that's it. Now he shamelessly comes here. Does he want the money back? When all is said and done, can't I just give you the money back? I'll consider it my hardship. I accept it. Hearing this, Chu Fei frowned. He had no idea that the person the old man asked him to protect was the woman he had a crazy night with at the hotel. What's worse is, this woman is still a virgin. "Do you think I want to? With your tough personality, do you really think I want any relationship with you?" As soon as Chu Fei said a few words, he shut up. Encountering such a woman, it can only be said that he's unlucky. Su Lili became angry when she heard him calling her a tiger. She suddenly stood up from her seat and pointed at the office door. "Get out of here. I'll transfer the money back to you later." "I don't want it." Chu Fei also had a stubborn temperament and was about to leave. However, just as he reached the door, he stopped. "No, I can't leave. I have to follow you." If he left now, the old man would definitely give him a good beating if he found out. "Are you a pervert? Why are you following me? Do you want to do it again?" Su Lili thought that this guy still had ulterior motives and was delusional about having something happen between them again. After all, most men couldn't walk away when they saw her. Besides, last night it seemed like it was her initiative. Cough, cough. Chu Fei pretended to cough. Su Lili also realized that she had lost her temper and tried to calm herself down. Her murderous glare was fixed on Chu Fei as if she wanted to devour him. "Actually, I don't have any specific purpose in coming to find you. I just want to find a job. From now on, I'll be your personal bodyguard. Wherever you go, I'll go. As for the salary, it doesn't matter how much. You know, I don't lack money." Chu Fei waved his hand indifferently and turned around to sit on the sofa. "Someone like you can't even keep up with physical strength, and you want to be my bodyguard? Little guy, have some wolfberry to replenish your energy." Su Lili's words immediately enraged Chu Fei. He could tolerate being called ugly and a jerk, but being called little, he couldn't accept it. "Who are you calling a little guy? Do you not accept it? All right, just wait. Sooner or later, I'll seize the opportunity to show you what a real man is." This statement made Su Lili's mouth curl up. Seemingly thinking of something, her face became slightly flushed. I wonder who it was that I didn't even dare to move in front of. Chu Fei was infuriated, but what she said was true. If something happened, the old man would definitely skin him alive. "You just said that you're now my personal bodyguard, right?" Su Lili looked at Chu Fei with a smile in her eyes. It seemed like she was planning a little conspiracy. Seeing the look in the other person's eyes, Chu Fei knew that this woman was determined to mess with him. But he couldn't go against the old man's mission. "Yes!" "Do you have any instructions?" Chu Fei could only put on a poker face and wait for Su Lili's orders. "I heard that those who are good at this profession are very impressive. Do you have any special skills? Show me. For example, breaking a stone with your chest? Splitting bricks with your hands? If not, how about a backflip?" Actually, Su Lili didn't really want to see Chu Fei perform these so-called skills. She just wanted to make Chu Fei embarrassed. This guy was shameless. If she didn't teach him a lesson, she couldn't vent her anger. "Are you treating me like a monkey? And performing a backflip? Go find a cool place and stay there." Chu Fei directly refused. He was being treated like a monkey. Breaking a stone with his chest and splitting bricks with his hands were childish games that he had learned when he was 5 years old. It seems like you're not capable of being a bodyguard. Su Lily clicked her tongue and broke through Chu Fei's defenses. Not capable. Once again, it was not capable. In the morning, she said he was mediocre, and now she said he wasn't capable? Can't bear it anymore, the stone in your chest, right? Come. Today, I'll let you, this tiger lady, open your eyes. Chu Fei looked around and saw the ashtray on the table. It was used to entertain guests, a transparent glass ashtray with thickness and hardness comparable to stone. Smashing it on the head would definitely leave a cut. He picked up the ashtray and slapped it with both hands. Smack! The entire ashtray shattered from his slap, and glass shards fell all over the floor. Su Li stood still in astonishment. She didn't expect that her teasing remark would provoke such a real reaction from him. Now, am I qualified to be your personal bodyguard? Chu Fei looked at Su Li and breathed a sigh of relief. Little girl, if you want to play with me, you're still too inexperienced. Su Li regained her senses and nodded slightly. Well, not bad. Go, get a broom and clean up for me. At that moment, Chu Fei had an urge to crush this woman fiercely. Let her know why flowers are so red. In the end, he obediently walked out of the office and fetched a broom to sweep up the broken glass on the floor. Just after finishing cleaning, a beautiful and elegant girl hurriedly rushed into the office. Seeing Su Li, she let out a long sigh of relief. My CEO, I finally found you. The person was Su Li's best friend, Fang Qing. Seeing Chu Fei in the office, she looked puzzled. Is this the new janitor you hired? He looks handsome. It's a pity he's just a janitor. Chu Fei exploded on the spot. A janitor? The world's top single soldier king was mistaken for a janitor? You're the janitor. Your whole family are janitors. Su Li couldn't help but burst into laughter. A janitor, this position suits this guy well. All right, you can go out now. Chu Fei held his breath and walked out of the office with a black face. Fang Qing looked at Su Li with some confusion. I say, my CEO, where did you find this handsome guy? I will pay him a high price to come to my model company as a model. With his appearance and figure, he will definitely be popular. Su Li regained her composure and calmed down. Her eyes looked complexly towards the direction of the door as she took a deep breath. Do you remember what I told you this morning? He is that guy. At that moment, Fang Qing's eyes almost popped out. After a long time, she finally reacted and looked at her in disbelief. You weren't joking, were you? Someone who can spend $1 billion to buy you wants to work as a janitor for you? Su Li also looked helpless. She didn't know why Chu Fei came to her, and he wanted to work as her personal bodyguard. The other party didn't actually have any ulterior motives towards her, and as for the money he gave her, it may have just been a compensation for last night's incident. Actually, it's not me who found him. He found me. He said he wanted to be my personal bodyguard, and he showed me a demonstration of breaking an ashtray with his bare hands. See, those glass shards in the trash can are from the ashtray he shattered with a slap. Fang Qing leaned closer to the trash can and glanced inside, her eyes shining with gossip. Do you think he's fallen in love with you at first sight? In TV dramas, this kind of plot often happens. Although it's a bit cliché, it's not impossible in reality. Hearing Fang Qing's words, Su Li's eyes brightened. It's not impossible. In fact, Su Li didn't dislike Chu Fei. On the contrary, she enjoyed teasing him for some reason and felt satisfied seeing him unable to vent his anger. No way. Would a rich young master like him fall in love with me at first sight? I'm just afraid that it's not love. As they spoke, they glanced consciously or unconsciously at their chests. This couple, they are burdensome and heavy. What's impossible about that? Think about it. Which tycoon would give you 10 billion at once? And why now? Fang Qing's words were reasonable, and Su Li felt a trace of belief. And outside the door, Chu Fei had no idea that he was being seen as love at first sight. He didn't care about the money at all. How about you invite him in and ask? Fang Qing's eyes turned, and she had a mischievous smile on her face. Su Li shook her head hastily. Forget it. Then her expression became somewhat gloomy. Maybe the other party just wants to distance themselves from me, and I am getting engaged to the Zhao family tonight. Although I have this money now, Even if I invested in the company, Kiwa still won't have the power to resist Zhao Group. And my parents won't agree to cancel the wedding. Upon hearing this, Fang Qing fell silent. Zhao Group was one of the top companies in the whole Jiangnan city. There were very few companies that could stand on equal footing with it. If Zhao Group targeted Kiwa, the company would go bankrupt within 3 months. This was the strength and influence of Zhao Group, and most companies would not choose to go against them. "I'll accompany you tonight," Fang Qing comforted her. "I'll go by myself. I don't want to drag you into this." Suli declined politely. She didn't want to involve Fang Qing in this matter. She had her own plan and a trump card in her hand. She didn't want to use it until the last moment. Once used, she would have no place in Jiangnan. "Okay. By the way, will that rich man outside also go with you? Maybe he can help?" In Fang Qing's eyes, Chu Fei was definitely a rich man. He could easily throw in several billions. "No, I won't bring him." Suli shook her head. She didn't plan to bring anyone. She didn't want to involve anyone else in this matter. "All right, your company is also busy, so you should go back first." Suli tidied up her emotions and smiled at Fang Qing. The latter knew that this woman planned to handle it alone, but she didn't have the right to interfere in this matter. "Then I'll leave first. Call me if you need anything." After saying that, Fang Qing grabbed her bag and walked out of the office. Before leaving, she gave Chu Fei a deep look. Feeling Fang Qing's gaze, Chu Fei looked puzzled. He hadn't done anything wrong, so why did this woman look at him as if he were a bad person? Meanwhile, Suli sat on the office chair, feeling a bit absent-minded. What should she do? The day passed in a daze until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Suli took a deep breath, closed her computer, and quickly touched up her makeup. She grabbed her bag and opened the office door. But Chu Fei had already moved 2 chairs and was lying on them, fast asleep. Suli's face turned black, and she kicked the stool with her foot. "Get up!" Chu Fei lazily got up, stretching his back. "Off work? Let's go!" After speaking, she started to leave. Seeing this, Chu Fei paused and then stepped aside, revealing a smile. "Please, my CEO!" Seeing him like this, Suli pursed her lips, wanting to smile but unable to. Just thinking about what would happen tonight made her feel like there was a huge stone weighing her down, making it hard for her to breathe. They arrived at the parking lot, and Suli threw the keys to Chu Fei.